All right, so we're diving into Start With Why by Simon Sinek today.
Yeah.
You've probably heard of it, but we're going deep.
Yeah, definitely beyond just the buzzwords.
Yeah. We've got Sam Thomas Davies' summary to help us out, kind of guide our deep dive here.
Cool. So it's interesting. Sinek doesn't just define why.
Right.
He goes deeper, looks the psychology of it. Like why do people line up for hours
Oh, yeah.
to buy the newest phone or whatever?
For-
It's got to be more than just the features, right?
It's like what the brand represents, right?
Exactly. It's that deeper meaning.
Yeah.
So it's more than just like a mission statement on a website.
Right.
We're talking about a deep, motivating purpose.
Yeah, that true motivation.
Yeah, he calls it inside-out thinking.
Uh,
The idea that communication should start at the core
okay.
with the WHY, and everything else flows from that.
Interesting.
But most companies, they focus on what they do,
Right.
maybe how they do it, but they miss the WHY completely.
And that's where they kind of get lost, right?
Totally. They resort to like gimmicks and manipulation instead of truly inspiring people.
Right. It's all about inspiration.
Yeah, they're stuck in this cycle of price wars and trends.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
But leading with WHY, that's what creates loyalty.
So how does that look practically?
Well, the summary gives examples like, think about when you choose a brand,
Okay.
even if there are cheaper options.
Yeah.
It's because their WHY resonates with you.
Right. You're buying into more than just the product.
Exactly. Take Apple or Patagonia. People aren't just buying their products.
Right.
They're buying into their WHY, their belief.
Yeah, Apple's always been about challenging the status quo.
That's it. And Patagonia, it's about sustainability.
Right, so their WHY is like a filter for everything they do.
Absolutely. And that creates trust. Customers believe in them
Makes sense.
because it's not just about profit, it's about a deeper connection.
And what about employees? The summary talks about that too.
Oh, it's huge. A strong WHY, it can really inspire employees.
To go above and beyond, right?
Yeah, because they believe in the mission.
They see a larger purpose.
Right, they're not just showing up for a paycheck.
It's about contributing to something better.
Exactly. Sinek gives examples like Southwest Airlines.
Oh, yeah. Known for their great customer service.
And that comes from their WHY, making air travel accessible.
So it's not just about customers, it's about creating a better work environment too.
Absolutely. But we can't get too caught up on just the WHY.
Okay.
That's part of a bigger system. Remember, Sinek emphasizes the balance of WHY, hair W, and what.
Right, so you need action, not just a lofty purpose.
Exactly. The 8 W's are the actions, the steps you take,
Okay.
and the whats are the results, the products, the services.
So, could you give us an example to kind of illustrate that?
Sure, think of Tesla. Their WHY is accelerating sustainable energy.
Right.
Their Hey W is developing electric vehicles and clean energy solutions.
Okay.
And their what is the actual cars, the solar panels, the batteries they offer.
So the WHY drives the HIW and the what, they all work together.
Precisely. But the summary warns us not to forget the HIW and the what.
So what does that mean?
Well, a WHY without the HIW is just a dream. Like, imagine having a great idea for a book,
Oh, yeah.
but never writing it. The HIW is where the rubber meets the road.
It's putting the idea into action.
And finding the right people is crucial, too. You need people who are skilled, but also believe in the WHY.
Yeah, they got to be passionate about it, too.
Exactly. Sinek talks about attracting the right how W types, people who can execute the vision.
It's like they're naturally drawn to it because they believe in it.
Yeah. It's not just about filling a position, it's about finding people who are aligned with the mission.
So it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah.
A strong WHY attracts the right people
Yeah.
who then make the WHY a reality.
Exactly. It creates this incredible synergy. Everyone's working towards the same goal, inspired by that shared purpose.
And that makes a huge difference in how things get done.
Absolutely. Sinek compares it to a movement, not just one person leading, but a collective effort driven by a shared belief.
I love that analogy. So it's about more than just individual success. It's about a collective movement towards something meaningful.
That's it. It's about creating impact on a larger scale.
This is fascinating stuff. And it's amazing how a simple concept like starting with WHY can have such a big impact.
It really is.
Yeah.
And it's not just about success in the traditional sense. It's about living a more meaningful life.
Yeah, aligning your actions with your values and making a positive difference.
Exactly. And that's what makes Sinek's work so compelling.
Well said. But before we go too far down that road,
Yeah.
I'm noticing the time, and I want to be mindful of our listeners.
Right, of course.
So as we start to wrap up this first part of our deep dive,
Okay.
what's one key question we can leave everyone with? Something that really captures the essence of start with why.
Hmm, that's a tough one. There's so much to unpack here.
I know, right?
But one thing that always sticks with me is Sinek's idea of constant improvement.
You mean that idea of competing against yourself.
Yes, always trying to do better than you did before. The summary asks this great question. What if we came to work each day just to be better than ourselves?
Ooh, I like that.
What if the goal was to do better work this week than last week?
That's a powerful shift in perspective. It's not about comparing yourself to others.
Exactly. It's about focusing on your own growth and progress.
And that applies to everything, not just work.
Absolutely. Think about relationships, personal projects, anything you're passionate about.
It's about striving to be better in every aspect of life.
Yeah. It takes the pressure off needing to be perfect.
Right. It's not about being flawless. It's about continuous improvement.
Exactly. And remember, even if you haven't figured out your WHY yet,
Yeah.
the process of searching for it is valuable in itself.
It's all part of the journey.
The questions you ask, the things you reflect on, they help you understand yourself better.
I love that. It's encouraging to know that even the search for your WHY has value.
Absolutely. Embrace the exploration, be curious, and the answers will come.
Well said. And to everyone listening, this was just a taste of Start With Why.
Right, just a glimpse.
We highly recommend checking out the full book.
It can really change the way you think about work, leadership, and life.
It's given me a lot to think about, that's for sure. Thanks for walking us through this.
It's been my pleasure. Always love diving into these ideas.
And to our listeners, keep exploring the things that spark your curiosity. We'll be back soon to continue our deep dive.
Looking forward to it.
See you then. But what about those companies that haven't found their WHY yet? What happens to them?
Well, the summary points out that they often end up just chasing trends,
Oh, I see.
competing on price or features,
Instead of something deeper.
Right. They lack that solid foundation of purpose.
So they're kind of lost, like no clear direction.
Exactly. And it makes it really hard to build that true loyalty.
Yeah, it's got to be genuine.
And attracting top talent, forget about it.
Right, because talented people want to work for something meaningful.
Yeah, they want to be part of something bigger.
Yeah.
And without a clear WHY, it's tough to make a lasting impact.
They might have short-term wins, but
But it's not sustainable.
makes you think, how many companies are out there just going through the motions?
Right. Not really connected to any deeper purpose.
It's almost like they haven't really figured out why they exist.
It's a great point, and it applies to individuals too.
Oh, interesting. How so?
Well, think about your career. Are you just clocking in and out?
Just going through the motions?
Or are you chasing something that truly aligns with your values?
That's a good question. But what if you don't know what your WHY is yet? How do you even start looking for it?
That's where the real journey begins. And Sinek talks about this. It's a process of discovery, not invention.
So you don't just come up with it.
Not really. It's more about digging deep,
Like introspection and reflection.
Exactly. Think about those times you felt most alive, most engaged.
Those moments that really lit you up.
Yeah. What were you doing? What was driving you?
It's like connecting the dots between your passions and strengths.
Exactly. Looking for patterns, like piecing together a puzzle.
That's a good way to put it.
And remember, it's a journey, not a destination. Your WHY might evolve over time.
That makes sense. We're constantly growing and changing.
Right, and so do our WHYs.
So we don't have to have it all figured out right now.
No, not at all. It's about the exploration.
But going back to Sinek's framework, he doesn't just talk about WHY, right?
Of course not. He emphasizes the HOW as well.
Because you need action, not just a dream.
Exactly. Sinek actually says, for passion to survive, it needs structure.
Ooh, I like that quote.
So it's about having a plan, a strategy, a system.
Okay, so it's like translating your purpose into action.
Yeah. It's about the HO types, the people who can execute the vision.
Oh, right. The summary mentioned that.
Yeah.
A clear WHY attracts those skilled individuals.
It's like a magnet. They're drawn to the purpose.
So it's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy. The WHY attracts the right people who then bring the WHY to life.
Precisely. It creates this incredible momentum, everyone working towards a common goal, inspired by the shared purpose.
It's like a symphony orchestra. All the different instruments working together to create something beautiful.
Beautiful analogy. And Sinek talks about this idea of competing against yourself.
Instead of competing against others.
Exactly. He argues that competing against everyone else creates scarcity and rivalry.
Oh, I see. It becomes this zero-sum game.
Right. But when you compete against yourself, it fosters collaboration and improvement.
So it's about being better than you were yesterday.
Exactly. It shifts the focus from external validation to internal growth.
So it's not about keeping up with the Joneses, it's about your own journey.
Exactly. And that can be incredibly empowering.
It gives you a sense of control, like you're in the driver's seat.
And it creates a positive feedback loop. The more progress you see, the more motivated you become.
And that leads to even more progress. It's a virtuous cycle.
And having a supportive environment is key, too.
Right. The summary talked about that.
Leaders need to create a culture where people feel safe to experiment and grow.
Where it's okay to make mistakes and learn from them.
Exactly. Sinek's all about fostering trust and psychological safety.
So it's not about micromanaging or punishing failure. It's about encouraging growth.
And it all comes back to the WHY. When people are connected to a shared purpose,
They're more resilient.
they know their work matters, so they're willing to put in the effort.
This is so insightful. It's amazing how something as simple as starting with WHY can have such a profound impact.
It really is. It goes beyond just success. It's about living a meaningful life.
Aligning your actions with your values, making a positive difference.
And that's what makes Sinek's work so powerful.
I'm really glad we're diving into this. It's given me so much to think about.
Me too. It's always great to revisit these ideas.
And I know our listeners are getting a lot out of it too. But I'm looking at the time and we're getting close to the end of our deep dive.
Okay, time flies when you're having fun.
It really does.
Mm-hmm.
So as we wrap up, what's one key question we can leave everyone with? Something that really sums up the essence of start with why.
Oh, there are so many good ones.
Right. It's hard to choose.
But you know what really resonates with me? Sinek's challenge to always strive for betterment.
You mean competing against yourself, always trying to improve.
Exactly. The summary asks this great question. What if we showed up to work every day just to be better than ourselves?
I love that idea.
What if the goal was to do better work this week than we did last week?
It really changes how you think about success, doesn't it?
It does. It's not about comparing yourself to others. It's about focusing on your own growth.
And that can apply to so much more than just work, right?
Absolutely. Relationships, personal projects, anything you're passionate about.
It's about that constant striving for improvement.
And you know, even if you haven't figured out your WHY yet, just the process of searching for it, that's valuable too.
It's all part of the journey.
The questions you ask, the reflections you make, it all leads to a deeper understanding of yourself.
So encouraging, right? It's a journey worth taking, even if you don't know the destination yet.
Exactly. Embrace the exploration, stay curious, and you'll find the answers along the way.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And to everyone listening, remember, this was just a glimpse into start with why.
Just scratching the surface.
We'd really encourage you to check out the full book for a deeper dive.
There's so much more to explore.
It's definitely given me a lot to think about. Thanks for guiding us through this deep dive.
Always a pleasure. It's inspiring to revisit these ideas.
And to our listeners, keep exploring, keep diving deep into the things you're curious about.
Until next time.
See you then.